My soft toys. They're really very soft. And also I just love to play with them.
Hey Apurva, what are you doing? By the way, your soft toys are so colorful. Wow.
You're right. I also appreciate the way they are colored.
Hey, I was listening to your talks. Do you know how soft toys were made from soft cotton? The outer covering of a soft toy is made by wood. These materials come from different places and grow in different locations. And they have their own different requirements for growing.
I know about these fibers, but not very well.
Hey, what are you doing? I know I am a bit late. I know about the fibers, but do not know the processes very well.
So, let's begin our informative video all about fibers and fabrics. Fibers. Fibers are very thin thread-like strands from which fabrics or cloths are made. Some examples of fibers are cotton, wool, silk, flax, jute, nylon, polyester, and polyacrylic. The fibers are spun into yarn that are long, continuous threads which can be woven on a loom to make a fabric or cloth.
There are two types of fibers: natural fibers,
Synthetic
fibers.
synthetic
Fibers are nylon, rayon, etc. Some of our clothes are made from animal fibers. These are natural fibers as they are obtained from nature.
Fibers are the fibers which are obtained from natural sources like plants and animals. The fun fact is that abiotic components of nature like sun, soil, water are helpful for fibers to grow in plants.
The wool comes from the animals like sheep, goat, yak, camel, llama, etc. These wool-yielding animals have a thick layer of hair on their body. The hair that makes them warm on the cold winter season.
Spaces between the wool fibers traps air since the air is a poor conductor of heat. So, the air trapped in hair shields the body from cold and keeps them warm from winter.
The hair close to our skin and the hair close to our arm and body are called soft hair. But the hairs on our head are called coarse hair. Like us, the hairy skin of sheep has two types of hairs that forms its wool or its fleece.
the coarse bird hair and the fine soft underhair close to the skin. The fine soft underhair provide the fibers for making wool to obtain braids of sheep that possesses only fine underhair. Their parents are carefully chosen.
Wool is commonly found in the market of sheep wool. There are several breeds of sheep in different countries. However, the fleece of the sheep is not only the source of wool. There are many other sources of wool.
Yak wool is common in Tibet and Ladakh. The Angora wool is obtained from the Angora goats in the hilly regions like Jammu and Kashmir. The undercover of Kashmiri goats is so soft that they are woven into fine shawls called pashmina shawls.
Fur on the body of camels is used as wool. Llama and alpaca found in South America are also yielding wool.
The wool comes mainly from sheep. For obtaining wool, sheep are reared and bred. Their hair is cut and processed into wool. We will first discuss the rearing and breeding of sheep.
Rearing and breeding of sheep means to look after the sheep by providing them feed, shelter and health care. The person who look after the sheep are called shepherds. The sheep are also herbivores and prefer to eat leaves and grass. The shepherds take their herds of sheep to the countryside for grazing.
Processing of fibers into wool. The wool that is used for knitting the sweaters or shawls is a long product for a long process.
The fleece of the sheep along with thin layer of skin are removed from the body. This process is called shearing. The hair of sheep shaved off by using the shaving machine similar to that used by barbers.
The fleece of sheep that tears of it contains dust, dirt, dried sweat, and grease, etc. So, the sheared hair of sheep is thoroughly cleaned by washing with soap or detergent and a lot of water in tanks. This process of washing sheared hair is called scoring. Scoring makes the fleece of sheep clean. The scored fleece is then dried. Nowadays, scoring is done by machines.
Step 3. After sorting is done, the process of separating of the fleece of sheep according to the quality of the woolen fiber, for example long, short, etc., is called sorting. In sorting, the hair of the sheep is sent to a factory where it is sorted by the different textures of wool.
The small fluffy fibers called burrs are pricked out from the hair. Burrs are small fluffy fibers present in the wool.
The fibers are straightened, combed, and rolled into yarns. The long woolen fibers are spun for twisting into the thick yarn called wool, which is used for knitting sweaters, etc. The short woolen fibers are spun into thin yarn and then woven on a loom to make woolen cloths like shawls, etc.
We concluded that the sheep's hair is sheared off from the body, scored, sorted, dyed, combed, and spun to obtain wool and woolen yarn.
The quality of a woolen cloth depends on the breed of sheep from which the wool is obtained.
Occupational hazard. The wool industry is an important source of livelihood for many people in our country. The people who do the job of sorting or separating the fleece of sheep into fibers of different qualities are called sorters. The sorter's job is very risky because sometimes they get infected by the bacteria called anthrax, which cause a deadly blood disease called sorter's disease. The risks are faced by people working in any industry due to the nature.
Silk. Silk is a natural fiber. Silk is obtained from an insect called silk moth. So, silk is also an animal fiber.
Sericulture. Sericulture means silk farming. The rearing of silkworms for obtaining silk is called sericulture. Sericulture is a very old occupation in India. India produces a lot of silk in a commercial sale.
We discussed the process of obtaining silk. It is necessary to know the interesting life history of silk moth.
The female silk moth lays eggs on mulberry leaves. The eggs are hatched into very small larvae within a week. The larvae of silk moth are called caterpillar of silkworm. The silkworm feed on the leaves of mulberry tree and grow bigger in size.
Development of cocoon. When the caterpillar or silkworm is ready to enter in the next stage of its level called pupa.
It first waves a net to hold itself. Then it swings its head from side to side. During these movements of head, the silkworm secretes a fiber made up of protein which hardens on exposures to air and becomes silk fiber.
Soon, the silkworm covers itself by the silk fibers and turns into pupa. The covering is known as cocoon. The silkworm continues to develop in the form of pupa under the cocoon to form the silk moth.
Production of silk. In order to produce silk, the silkworm developing inside the cocoon as pupa is not allowed to mature into an adult silk moth. So as soon as the cocoon is formed, it is used to obtain silk fibers and the developing silkworm as pupa gets killed. Some of the silkworm as pupa are, however, allowed to live and mature into silkworm so that they can lay eggs to produce more silkworms. There is a variety of silk moths which look very different from one another, and the silk yarns they yield is different in nature, is different in texture, like coarse, smoothie, shiny, etc.
Tazar silk, koza silk, muga silk, etc. are obtained from cocoon spun by different types of moths.
One of the most common silk moth is the mulberry silk moth. The silk is obtained by the cocoon of the mulberry silk moth. The mulberry silk is lustrous, shiny and elastic and can be dyed in beautiful colors.
Pure silk is obtained from the cocoons of silkworm and it is made up of protein. Artificial silk. Artificial silk is obtained from the wood pulp. It is the modified plant material, cellulose. Like silk, wool also contains proteins.
From cocoon to silk. For obtaining silk, silk moths are reared and their cocoons are collected to get silk threads.
The discovery of silk was made in China a long time back. According to an old Chinese legend, the Empress Si Tungchi was asked by the Emperor Hong Ti to find the cause of the damaged leaves of the mulberry trees growing in their garden.
The Empress found while worms eating up mulberry leaves, she also noticed that they were spinning shiny cocoons around them. Accidentally, a cocoon dropped into the cup of her tea, and a tangle of delicate threads separated from the cocoon. Silk industry in China and was kept a closely guarded secret for hundreds of years.
Later on, traders introduced the silk to other countries. The route they traveled is still called the Silk Route.
In today also, China leads the world in silk production. India also produces a lot of silk to other countries. In India, many women are engaged in many activities related to silk production.
Silkworms, weaving of silk, cocoons, and processing of raw silk into fabrics. Thanks for watching our
Informative video
till end.